and will not be able to look over a copy. Who? And down line 61 through 63 is a repeat of lines 57 to 60.
Got it.
And line 65, you've got Chair Meal, not Miller. And I think that's mine. I had some in line 48, but I don't know what it was. I didn't highlight it. So I'm sorry. Oh, the verb. Would like a paper copy. After more, it should be the word would.
Would like, yep.
Paper copy as well, yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yep. Any other corrections? It's been moved and properly second. Can we get a vote, please?
Mr. Cooper?
He may be on. He's muted. Yep, he is.
Sorry, I was trying to figure it out. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, sorry about that. With sharing the screen, I had to try to find the mute button. Commissioner Wheeler? Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman?
Yes.
Vice Chair Brock?
Yes.
Chairman Miller? The motion to approve the special board meeting minutes of January 21st with the corrections have been properly moved and seconded.
Next board item, approval of February 11th, 2021 annual board meeting minutes approval. Can I get a motion? I move that the special board meeting of Thursday, February 11th, 2021 be approved with any necessary corrections.
I'm sorry, I just don't see that in my packet.
It says agenda on it.
Yes,
It doesn't say minutes. It says agenda.
It says agenda.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yes, I second it.
It's been properly moved to second. Any discussion? The first thing is the word agenda at the top of the page needs to be removed. Then item 3B. It's all confused in there. Mr. Carter wishes to make public comment. Mr. Carter wishes to have is the word that needs to go out.
Got it.
And I think I found.
Right. Okay.
Do you? I noticed you never put the time that we adjourn. Should that not be in the minutes?
It absolutely should be in the minutes. I did not have the adjourn time when I pulled this up.
Okay.
I saw that we were missing February, and that's why I pulled it over to March, this special board meeting. I
Okay.
did not have that.
I'll get my notebook out and I'll
Thank you,
send
ma'am.
it to you.
You are wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Any other corrections? It's been moved, properly supported, corrections made. Can we get a vote, please?
Commissioner Wheeler,
Right.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman,
Yes.
Vice Chair Brock,
Yes.
Chairman Miller. Motion to approve the amended minutes for the February special board meeting of February 11th, 2021 have been moved and properly seconded.
Okay, next on the agenda is public comment. We ask that you raise your hand if you have public comment. If you are calling in by phone, I think it is #6. And then you can get them, Mr. Cooper. We ask that you state your name for the record as you see them. Any public comments?
I think we have one. Looks like a hand is raised.
Yes. Ms. Scott?
Yes, greetings, everyone. This is resident DeSella Scott. I just wanted to say that we just received our recertification packets. I understand that they went out late. I did turn mine in today. However, the updated paperwork that's now going in the system. I know a while back the board was discussing transferring to electronic files. Is anything in the works for that, or you're still on paper? The reason I'm asking is for security purposes, so another resident won't have to go through the hell that I endured with mine being tampered with and evaded and announced in the public view. So I was wondering, is there any plans for the electronic to be transferred to electronic files versus paper? Oh, that concludes my inquiry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Williams?
Yeah, greetings. I just want to share with the commissioners and get a chance to.
We can barely hear you.
Can you hear me?
You can speak just a little louder.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. I just want to remind the commissioners about the State of the City's address coming from the mayor on April the 7th. If you've got a newsletter to go out, also we'd like for you to inform the residents to also tune in on the city, the city on the April the 7th. That's all I have. It's good to be with you.
Thank you.
Ms. Scott, the answer to your question is we're still looking at updating the software and getting compatible software to interface with our current software so that we're able to do more things online. I don't know at this time if recertification will be part of that. But we know as far as we wanting to interface, being able to pay your rent and look at work orders. And Mr. Cooper, you want to speak to that?
No, you're absolutely right, Vice Chair Brock. We are exploring right now, what we can do electronically. That's twofold. One, we have to have a website that has the capability where we can exchange information or information can be submitted, which will then interface or interact with our software. So it is a process, as Vice Chair has stated. It's a process, but it's a process that we have gotten started. And ultimately, we will get there where some of our business is going to be more electronic, online, and not face-to-face.
Thank you.
Also, there's a question in the chat. What time, April 7th, Councilman Williams?
6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
I was trying to get back in. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right.
That brings us down to Resolution 2103-01, authorizing Inkster Housing Commission to approve changes to the APCOT for utility reimbursement payments. I move that we accept the Resolution 21-03-01 regarding ACOP for utility reimbursement payments.
I second it.
It's been properly moved and second. Any discussion?
Yes, just one quick question. I did read it over, and also for the ACOP. So that is just for the change will be, because I know they're going to ask this question. It's not for them to pay both utilities, but just the one that they're paying now that they're particular complex. Am I correct?
Yes. And good evening to everyone. Happy Tuesday.
I thought that was it, but I wanted to make sure, because make sure the information was correct. Thank you. That was Mr. Watson, am I correct?
You are correct.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Wheeler, Commissioner Stroman,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Vice Chair Brock,
Yes.
Chairman Miller. Resolution 210301 has been properly moved and second.
Thank you. Resolution 21-03-03, authorizing Inkster Housing Commission to approve Alliance Architect Services. Can I get a motion?
I believe Chair Miller just entered.
Okay.
Good evening.
Sir.
Hey, good evening. I'm sorry about that.
Good evening. Did you want to take it from here, or you want me to continue?
Let's continue whatever resolution we're on, and then I will jump in from there. I truly appreciate y'all. Sorry about that.
We're on resolution number C, Chair.
Okay. For architectural services?
Yes. Was there a motion?
There was no
Not
motion.
yet. I'm trying to make sure I'm on the right one. I move that we accept resolution number 21-0303, architectural services.
Support.
It has been moved and properly supported. Discussion.
Let's see. I had a question. So let me get myself together here with regard to it, because I know that the amount of money went up from the 75 to approximately 125. With regard to that, obviously we're going to be shooting for the architectural group to be looking for the things that we can do, affordably. I just don't want to set them up to go in and everything they find is something that's astronomical with regard to pricing. So I'm a little concerned about that, but that's just sort of a FYI.
Ms. Blackshear, would you like to elaborate what this resolution is in regards to?
Yes. Basically, what we're trying to do now is make this time for the staff at Inkster Housing more efficient. So if we had our consultant jump in and take on some of the duties that the staff would normally do, which is to write up the scope of work, bidding process for these units, and the design work for the dwelling units. It would just make it more efficient, and it would help us move along a little quicker to bring up our occupancy rate.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, Chairman, excellent question. Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. They're already, of course, our architects, and they were tasked with maybe a year or so ago going through a group of units and essentially just writing up the scope of work, if you will, for the units. And so, later on in my report, I'll talk a little bit more about occupancy. But like Ms. Blackshear said, she's absolutely correct. With the challenge that we have, with not just the vacant units, but with maintenance, grounds, curb appeal, all of anything that has to do with property management, we just didn't feel as if our two maintenance coordinators had the capacity to project manage the volume that they would have to project manage and do it efficiently, timely, and be able to make sure that the work product that we were getting is going to be what we want to display. So having an architect, engineer architect on board to kind of project manage, that's where we really have a deficiency at, project manage, and which will allow the maintenance coordinators to make sure that we're doing what our number one goal is, which is customer service. So, they're going to be charged with making sure the maintenance work orders are done timely, that the grounds are upkept, and just general maintenance. And we just don't see that where they can do both of these at the same time. Now, at some point in time, when we can get the vacancies under control, I think they will have the capacity to reassume these duties. So this task order essentially is not something that I would anticipate is going to be ever ending, but to get us to where we need to be.
Correct.
All right. I appreciate it. Okay. Thank you, Judge. That's all for me.
Any other questions? No other questions. It's been moved and properly second. Can we get a vote?
Commissioner Wheeler? Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman?
Yes.
Vice Chair Brock?
Yes.
Chairman Miller?
Yes, sir.
Resolution 2103-03 authorizing the Inkster Housing Commission to approve Alliance Architect Services has been moved and properly seconded.
All right. And if that's okay, get the Vice Chair to link what you got to me. We will
Now let me think about that, dog. Just
Don't take your time.
no,
Take your time, no pressure.
here it is. Here it is.
We can, looks like we have a previous resolution, Resolution 21-02-01 for authorization for Inkster Housing Commission to approve legal services. This was tabled from a previous, was this tabled previously?
I think from a parliamentary standpoint, you have to remove it from the table.
Yep, so like, this one looks like it was tabled from a previous, we need to lift this one off the table. Is there a motion to bring this one off the table from the previous meeting?
I move that we bring the resolution 210201 off the back on the table. Put it back on the table.
Resolution 21-02-01 is now up for discussion. Is there
Did I get a second on the?
yeah, I'm gonna say, did somebody second it?
No.
I didn't hear a second.
That's
More?
Alright.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner.
Alright, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion with regard to this resolution?
So I have a question
Yes, ma'am.
because the resolution is written to retain two legal entities. Am I correct on that?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, and has it been settled that that's what we're gonna do? Or did I miss something?
No, no, not at all.
That's what's for discussion?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, am I confused? Did we not vote to take it off the table before we? I'm confused.
That's what you're saying?
That's discussion.
What are you saying?
Seemed like you went into discussion before you're discussing the recommendation instead of discussing that we take it off the table, bring it to the table.
Fair enough. Yep, it was moved and supported to do so. So we need a vote to bring it off the table?
Right.
Okay, doke. So it's been moved and supported to bring it off the table. Is there any discussion with regard to that motion? Hearing none, we need a roll call to bring it off the table there, Director.
Yep. Commissioner Willard, Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman,
Yes.
Vice Chair Brock,
Yes.
Chairman Miller.
Yes, sir.
The motion to bring the resolution 210201 authorizing the Inkster Housing Commission to approve legal services has been properly moved and seconded.
No.
To bring it
That
off
is
the
not
table.
the motion.
Right, to bring it off the
It
table.
was to bring it back to the table for discussion.
Yep, we got it.
Okay, you sure now?
Yep, we got it.
Motion put on the
I
table.
don't think so. That motion is up now to be moved for discussion. We're gonna need another motion for that now.
Right.
Motion to
We need a
discuss.
motion to accept or this motion, this resolution.
Still regarding resolution 210201 for legal services, is there a motion to accept?
For the sake of discussion, I would move that we accept resolution number 210201, legal services.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
One moment, sir.
Not in the middle of the motion.
There's one motion.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Alright, it's been moved and supported. Discussion, please.
I have a question. This is the same document that we tabled because we didn't have enough information and we were supposed to get a hard copy of the actual, what was supposed to have been entered. I never received the hard copy so that I could be able to go over it. I mean, you were supposed to give us a hard copy from both firms so that we could see exactly what the resolutions were going to be, what we were going to be voting for. But I never received the hard copy.
Okay, did you get the information from the committee that went over the bids?
No.
Okay. All right. So, Director, do you have that available to you?
I can check for it here. Let me.
Therese probably has it too.
Yeah,
Therese has the summary.
Yeah, I have it. I would have to give it to you. I can't give it to you tonight.
Okay.
Not at the
That's
office.
understandable, yes.
Okay, but I can make it.
I would like to have that.
Okay.
And how it would typically how with the RFP selection and this is just what when the evaluation committee goes through the proposals and they select their the award-winning bid or bids in this case, then what we would do is bring the resolution. So if I'm not sure if what would help the board, not in just this regard, but in the regards for our continuing process when we do the RFPs, because traditionally, the evaluation committee would evaluate the proposals, if you will, and then we bring the resolution with supporting information. So if there is additional information on this one in regards to, we could try to get that to the board to discuss, because what we were going to do is, if there's questions specifically, I would attempt to answer them. But again, if the board is not comfortable in approving the resolution at this time, I understand that that's the board's privy. But we would try to make sure at this stage, we could answer any questions that that the board would have. But traditionally, and for Commissioner Moore, you had a great question. It's not an issue or anything, but traditionally there's really not any other material for us to provide aside of any supporting documentation that we would discuss, at the resolution. Other than the law firms in this case, their actual proposal, which would be like a binder of all their information. That's something that we typically don't bring to kind of like this forum.
Okay, I do understand that at that time, but when we were at the meeting, I believe it was the January meeting, I was not the only person that asked for the hard copy. It was also Commissioner Wheeler and also Commissioner Stroman. So if it was something that could not be presented or gave to us, then I think we should have been let known that at that time. And then we could have probably, if it's a point of coming to your office or whatever to talk with you or whatever committee, then we would have been able to do that. I was just saying that for future reference. So,
Yep, not a problem.
I would like to know. I just want to know. I don't want to approve something that I don't know what I'm approving. I'm not going to do that. So, I just need to get a little bit more information. That's all. Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, I'm on the same page with Mrs. Moore, because I specifically asked, give me a breakdown of why the pros and the cons. I haven't received that. I'm old school, and I said, you may be new school, but help me to understand.
Yeah.
Old school says we don't need all of this. New school may be you need it. I don't know, but I need to know what the pros and the cons are as you view it,
Yes.
not as I view it. Because if I view it, it's one or the other.
I'm with that. Fair enough. All right,
Mr. Chair,
ma'am.
if I may, I guess the difference is for me, in wanting to get more information, I don't think I need that aspect, but this is one of the things where this is one of the areas where we're able to go outside the recommendation of the committee if we so choose to, which doesn't happen often. Architect firms, law firms, and those type of things, specialized fields, if we so desire that we can choose outside of just the recommendation of the committee. And for me, that's, I guess, for me, that's why it's of questions. I'm not convinced that we necessarily need both either, not at this juncture. And then on the other hand, I think it's kind of unfair to have these people out there just kind of waiting in lingo.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and again, I think with the and I'll go back to the RFP process, and again, I mean, it's for us as staff when we bring resolutions to be able to articulate the purpose and be able to state why we're going and whatever the recommendation that we're going. But again, the board has to feel comfortable in that decision. And if the board is not comfortable in what we're providing, then again, our options is to table resolution or not move forward at the time. So I'm fine with that. It's just I want to make sure that as we bring resolutions to the board, that if there's a standard process in which we're going to do, especially where there's going to be resolutions that there's going to be concern. There's going to be a lot of concern, on resolutions as we move forward. In which I'll talk a little bit more in during the executive director's report. But if there's a method in where the board would want to have some insight, prior to the actual board meeting, that's where I think we have to discuss, because there's things that prior to bringing a resolution, we are not really at liberty to discuss formally. We would need to be able to make sure that prior to the board meeting that we inform the board and educate the board on what we're bringing, so that we know during the process leading up to the board meeting that we carry out those, that vision, if you will, for the different services that we're going to be requesting.
Okay, so at this point, we got. I just need something to suspend the rules real quick because Milt wanted to speak. If there's no objection to it, I want to go ahead and give him a second.
I just wanted to make a general comment. It seems to me that the language, I have a vested interest, so I don't want to say too much, but it seems to me the language in the resolution was very vague. It just says approving the resolution for legal services. I think you got to put some teeth in the resolution. Who's being approved? What are the terms, etc.
Okay, I appreciate that. I think the point of flexibility was kind of the point of the resolution, though, but so that you don't hard delineate. But we'll see. We'll go through it and try and get this thing hammered out so we can get this one together. So,
I want to, if I may, also make another general comment. Many times there was a comment made you can't discuss resolutions at the time. However, many public bodies have what they call committee of the whole meetings,
yes,
whereby, as an example, I believe the city of Inkster used to have their council meeting start at 7, and they would have a committee of the whole meeting starting at 6, whereby they would discuss many of the items that were going on the agenda to see, more specific and educate the body as to the terms of the resolutions. They would have staff there. So, you could do that type of format as well. You could have a committee of the whole meeting like 5:30 and discuss these things, and then have your formal meeting at 6:30. I'm just throwing that out for consideration.
all right.
Yeah, and then that's to the board. If the former authorities that I've been at, that's kind of how it was ran, so that if the questions, if you were especially as it relates to resolutions, things that there are going to be a lot of questions on, we're hammered out prior to, because again, when we get to this forum, I try to make sure that the staff as well as myself we can explain the purpose for the resolution, and try to articulate the need or what have you for that specific service. And again, like I said, there's going to be some resolutions where, of course, and rightfully so, the board is going to want to really understand what we're bringing forth. So.
All right.
Chair, if I may,
Yes.
I would even go to say that, I'm sorry. Even myself, and I put myself first, as well as my peers, I think we own part of that, because as we ask for things, if we're not getting them in a reasonable enough time, a reasonable amount of time, it's on us to send an email and say, hey, you said you were going to give me X, Y, and Z. I haven't received it. I mean, we own that part. Because it's me too. That's why I said me included.
I am.
It's been months now since that's happened. And so even if it took Friday, whenever this packet came out, and we saw the part of the packet, it's up to us to reach out and say, hey, I don't understand this. Walk me through your thoughts or whatever. Or send it in an email to Mr. Cooper and say, walk me through your thoughts on this. I think that's okay to do.
For future reference, I will.
All right. So at this point, we got a motion on the floor that we didn't pull it off the table, so we got to do something with this one. So let's see. Is there any other discussion with regard to it? No. Don't hear any. Need a roll call vote for the director.
Okay. Commissioner Wheeler? Commissioner Moore?
I'm sorry, I missed it. I was excellent.
Okay.
I'm being truthful. I did.
No, I was just
It's a
calling
roll
your
call
name.
vote for the current resolution.
Is this for the two attorneys?
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right, so you can step back. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's on Commissioner Moore.
Take your time.
This is to approve the resolution. If it is, then it's no.
Commissioner, I was going to say Commissioner Will. Commissioner Strollman?
No.
Vice Chair Brock?
No.
Chairman Miller?
No, sir.
The motion has been, resolution, 210201, authorizing Inkster Housing Commission to approve legal services has been denied. I should use the word denied, if you will.
Motion failed.
Motion failed.
All right. Next item. Let's see what else we got here. That's the last resolution, right? So we are on to our items. Let's see. Next one is resident council report.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello, sir.
Okay, I will be giving the report for resident council tonight. So a couple of them will be just some questions that we already brought forth recently, and then I will go right into what we're doing and what's coming up. Okay, so number one, do you have a target recertification completion time? I know the research paper went out. We have a time on when you want this completed, or when it will be completed as far as getting everyone recertified. Number two, have letters gone out to the residents about keeping their areas clean around their units and the penalties for not doing so. All right, number three, have residents with large and illegal dogs been identified and fined? Number four, what is your disposition on putting squatters out of vacant units, and will all vacant units be secured by VPS? Number five, when will the lightings on the Lemoyne Management Office parking lot be repaired? All right, number six, in the past, residents have asked to have worn weather strippers on their front and rear door door replaced. I think they was on back orders. Have they been ordered and have we received them? Okay, number 7. Will housing be purchasing computers and TV for the Lehigh Center, where the resident council will be moving into by April? Those are my questions. So that's it for the questions. Okay, so number 8, I'll go right into it. Jason Dixon, Strategic Alliance will be starting training for plumbing in mid-April or May. This program is for ages 14 to 26. Flyers will be going out soon. Okay, also we are asking the resident council, that the resident council Zoom meetings go out every month with a newsletter, but please notify us beforehand for accuracy, because a lot of letters have went out with Zoom information and it wasn't accurate. Number 10, Mr. Cooper has already made contact or reached out to some of the organizations that will assist our families in becoming self-sufficient through educational program and job readiness training, like WSC Academy and Cream Incorporated, to name a couple. Also, he has spoken with Chet Pitts from Matt Plus, who want to help our residents with mental health services. So number 11, the resident council member went door-to-door surveying our residents to implement free Wi-Fi services. We have got some of the surveys back. We're still waiting on more to come in. Number 12, the Inkster Housing Resident Council Summer Youth Program. We're looking to start around June, depending on the CDC guidelines. Classes will be held at 2 locations. One is the Lehigh Center, and the second is the Simmons Center. And lastly, and certainly not least, things have got to get better as far as disseminating the correct meeting information. Because a lot of times we get this information, we send them out to residents. When it's wrong, we have to go back and send all this information back out at the last minute. So we can get that correct information up front would be helpful. That's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
I'm sorry, are you talking about disseminating information based on the newsletter, sir?
No. This is for the commissioner meeting. Those wrong information that we have, that we got through our email.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is the Executive Director report. Director.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Carter, for your report, resident service report. What we'll do is make sure that the things you brought forth, that we get back to the resident council and to the greater board, just on the concerns that you mentioned. So for my report, like last month, for the board and the general audience, I tend to try to structure my report in a way that I can go over some of the things that we've done in the previous month, as well as touch on some of the consent items that will be under number 10 that's presented after my report. So the first part of my report is typically going to be personnel. So I just want to brief the board on personnel, and if there's as far as in the status of where we're at with some of the positions. So right now we have a total of 13 vacant positions. 8 of those are more in the maintenance, and 5 of those are administrative. Out of the 8, we are looking to hire 4 what we call resident aides. So for the resident council, and for if there's any residents on the meeting this evening, we are looking for 4 part-time positions in the area of resident aid to assist with some of the grounds and upkeep of general upkeep of our facilities. So that's where we're at with those positions. All positions have been posted, if you will, and we are working our list of applicants. There's a few positions that haven't closed yet, so we'll just make sure we get a good pool of applicants. I also, when it comes to personnel, I like to take this section to just recognize a couple employees monthly. We'll be recognizing 2 employees a month. And so we are currently putting together, what that recognition program will look like, and finalize that and make sure that the board, just has a copy. I think it's always good to recognize employees and those that are putting forth a good effort to make sure we're doing providing the best customer service possible. And so the first employee I like to recognize is out of our maintenance department, and I'm not sure if he is on the phone or on the Zoom, I should say, but Lamar Burrell. I want to recognize Lamar Burrell. Lamar, since I've been here, has been one that has communicated, directly to me, just on some of his observations. And so his supervisors have communicated to me just his outgoingness, his pleasant demeanor. So, that's the type of maintenance staff that we want to make sure that we have on staff, and the type of maintenance staff and employee, period, that we want to make sure that we have, we retain, and we recognize. So, Lamar, for some of your efforts, for your pleasant demeanor, display, and your outreach, we just recognize your efforts, man, and we thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. I appreciate that. I did get on the call. I didn't expect that, but that really means a lot. And I'm gonna just try to spread the love and keep our focus on trying to change the outlook on how people looked at Inkster housing. Sorry, I got a little puppy back here, but
That ain't no puppy.
right. He's only a year old, so yeah. But we're just trying to change the focus and what's your outlook, and Miss Sutton, Jared, Nick, and Miss Johnson, Miss Matthews want from us. We're trying to display that on the field.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Lamar, man.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Our second employee that I would like to call recognition to works in our housing choice voucher program. Miss Woods has been a staple, if you will, in the department. When we have folks that are out for whatever reason, we know that we have to provide a level of service still. And when we have folks that are out, it's still our goal to be able to provide appropriate customer service, and to still keep the ball moving. And Miss Woods is one that multiple employees, have told me that, during some of our challenging times and what have you, that she was able to keep the ball rolling and support the director. So I just like to recognize Makita Woods from our Housing Choice Voucher Program, for her efforts and what she has done, and what she continues to do.
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Right. Congratulations to both Lamar and Makita. Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations,
inmates.
Y'all both deserve it.
Yep.
Yes.
Congratulations, lady. It's fantastic.
Yes, Makita, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Anything you want to add, Ms. Woods?
I just like to do my best. I'm a team player. I'm all for us working together, and I really appreciate it.
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Most definitely.
Appreciate you. All right. You're welcome to stay on, you and Lamar, but if not, I understand, but you're welcome to stay on. All right, so the next part of my report will be more of an operations report. So just wanted to touch on a few things regarding the consent items. So Under asset management, and I'll try to focus it within the two operational departments. Under asset management, on our board report, one of our indicators, our key stats, is work orders. And so, starting, I believe, last month, there was approximately 200 plus work orders open. I don't have that exact number. I think. $37 open. This month, I can report that there's been a pretty good reduction. There's 152. I'm sorry, for the month of February, we ended with 152 work orders open, which was the lowest number of work orders open since May of 2020. So I think that shows, and that's one reason why I had Mr. Burrell on as a maintenance. I think that shows we're trying to make an effort to make sure that we're servicing the residents. Now, work orders will rarely ever, if ever, be down to zero. It's a moving target. We could close all today and get 50 tomorrow. So the number of open work orders, although I look at the number, I really focus on the average days. How long is it taking us to service the resident? Because I know that it fluctuates from day to day. So for us, to have 152 work orders open at the end of the month, going into March, we also are now starting to address what we call our UPCS. So for the board, that's Uniform Physical Condition Standards. So annually, we'll have an inspection of 100% of our units. We'll get a massive report of every deficiency. We're roughly at around for this year, there's about 2,000. So again, this is a large number of work orders. They're not tenant generated, I mean, they're not things that residents call in. So I don't want us to confuse that, but there are things that we need to address. They can be something as simple as, chip paint, or it can be something as complex as, a non-working refrigerator. It just ranges. So, with work orders, what we're targeting is for the 1st of May. By the 1st of May, all of these open work orders that were lingering from the last board report will be complete. So again, I'm looking at the date range. I'm looking at when were they open, how long are they open, and understanding that, again, you can close 50 today and get 50 tomorrow. So I'm not necessarily focused on the number that's open from day to day, just how long is it taking us to get them done. So I can appreciate what the maintenance staff is doing and what Ms. Sutton is leading them to do. So that's work orders, but we are going to start addressing the UPCS work orders. So we'll have to get notices out, because typically we give 48-hour notice before we enter apartments. So for the resident council, you'll note that, we will be coming in, whether a resident has called it in or not. These are some things that we have to do. So we'll start to enter units to get some of these work orders done and chip at it along the way. So that is really leads into what I would call our physical conditions. And so for the asset management team, the physical conditions is something that, we have scored in the past, not so well in when it comes to our REACT score. I think we've all, seen or discussed our REACT score in the past. So the physical conditions really relate to this UPCS that you'll hear me refer to from time to time. That really correlates and relates to our REACT score. So the more work we can get done with these UPCS work orders, typically the better your REACT score will be. So again, what we will do is we will start to report what I call annual work orders. UPCS is called annual work orders. We'll start to let the board know and inform the board on where we're at with that process, because I want the board not just to see what residents have called in, but I want the board to also see the things that we're doing that folks wouldn't know because they haven't called in, but they really will attribute to our physical condition. The next thing for the asset management report is our age receivables, which, during the finance report, if there's questions, we may touch on that, but our age receivables. So we know that age receivables for us is essentially uncollected revenue, potential uncollected revenue. So what we have done, and I think this is one of the things that was on the monthly report for resident council. I think it was question about, I think the question was IHC violations, I said large dogs violations, squatters and vacant units. So, those things to me are tied in with the age receivables and the vacancies. We had a meeting last week with Judge Johnson's team at the 22nd District Court, I believe. And we discussed just about the legal process, legal filings, and what the courts can predict to see. We are currently still under the CDC moratorium. So that doesn't mean that lease obligations don't have to be met. That doesn't mean that rent doesn't have to be paid. So, but we want to be conscious of, lease enforcement, especially when it comes to rent or non-payment of charges. Lease violation is one thing. You got to abide by your lease. But when it comes to rent, what we're doing is we're outreaching our rent collection and age receivables. We're outreaching to the residents. We've sent 1 to 2, I think twice so far now, within the past 3 weeks, letters to residents regarding rent, unpaid rent, as well as recertifications. So those are 2 things that's on on the asset management board report. What we're trying to do is get residents, 1, to know what their obligation is, and 2, get residents to come in and talk to us. It's not necessarily about evictions for us and for me. It's about, why are you behind? What can we do? But, we have to extend our hand for residents to be able to come in to comply with these things, because recertifications is a compliance issue. And so regardless of what has to happen, we have to get these compliance issues under control. So we are continually to reach out to residents. We will be reaching out to them again this week, and that's in the form of letters. So we're giving folks a chance to come in, to comply with the lease. We're giving folks a chance to come in and to also, talk to us. If you're having struggles in paying, we can offer you a repayment agreement. We can work with you as far as is there resources in the community. It's not all about evictions, but one main reason that we're doing this outreach, yes, is to reduce our TARs, which is on the asset management board report. Yes, is to ensure we have our recertifications done timely, which is on the asset management board report. But the third thing that I think it will do for the commission, and I think this is probably the most important, is it's going to help us really get under control. And then again, this was something on the monthly report from resident services. So it's all correlated. It's going to help us get under control of this vacancy, at least understand the true vacancy situation that we had. It is my belief to the board and to the staff that folks aren't coming in because they aren't here. Folks aren't paying rent because they aren't here. And so the only way to make sure that the people that should be here is here, the only way to make sure that we get some of these compliance issues under control is to hold residents accountable to the lease obligation. But we want to make sure that, again, we're offering opportunities for folks to take care of some of these issues regarding the rent and the recertification. So the outreach to residents is something that's critical, that's occurring right now, and will continue. But coming out of March, we are going to step up our efforts when it comes to collection and recertification, meaning that we are going to have to begin to hold residents accountable to making sure that some of these things are taken care of, but we also have to be empathetic in how we approach it. So again, that's why we talk with the judge, we talk with the courts. Thanks to Milt for arranging that. We are outreaching to residents now. One of the things on the monthly report from Resident Services, again, and I'm only bringing that up because it correlates to the report, is vacant property solutions. Excuse me. VPS is out on site as we speak, if you will. Well, today they've been out all week, and they're going to continue to be out securing our units. So as we ensure that the right people are in the units, as we go through the processes of making sure that any squatters or people that illegally are in units are out, we have VPS ready. And Ms. Sutton has been working with them to make sure they have their resources ready. Because they're going to need a substantial amount of resources to have these units secured in a way that we want them secure. Boards is not secure. VPS is secure. Boards does not provide a look that we want to project to the environment and to the community. VPS is what we have to have. So we are working our strategy when it comes to the age rent collection or age receivables, recertifications, and occupants. Twin Towers for the board is our first target. Twin Towers is where we're going to actually target renovations because it's a building. It's a building to where it should not be hard to lease up. It's a building where the cost for renovations should not be astronomical or be substantial. So that's 20 units right there that Ms. Blackshear is working with the asset manager and Ms. Sutton to make sure that we receive bids on, and that's the low-hanging fruit. Twin Towers is the low-hanging fruit. If we can get Twin Towers renovated and leased up, that's 20 less vacancies, and then we take that momentum and we focus on our family properties. But the strategy is to focus on the low-hanging fruit, make sure that we secure our units, and we make sure that some of these compliance issues, are taken care of. So that's our strategy when it comes to asset management. Curb appeal is one thing that I wanted to mention also in my report. We understand that there's been challenges in the past with curb appeal. So one of the first starts is the lawn RFP. We will look to contract all grass cutting. Ms. Blackshear did meet with a group of contractors this week. So we're just awaiting the bids in. We did our pre-proposal conference. So grass cutting is something that's going to help out our curb appeal tremendously. We already contracted with a company for leaf pickup. They started last week. They may still be out, but we had a substantial amount of leaves, which, folks may say, well, leaves, are you serious? Well, leaves, when you pick up leaves, it makes the property look a lot better. And so, we contracted with a company to pick up the leaves around the property, and we're talking about not just a bag, we're talking about hundreds to thousands of bags of leaves that they've already picked up. The other thing is bulk pickup. Bulk pickup is a pet peeve of mine because we know that the city and other entities that do bulk pickup for the Housing Commission is only going to do bulk pickup on their schedule. So if it's Thursday, the third Thursday of the month, they're only going to come out the third Thursday of the month. Well, this goes back to some compliance things and lease things that Mr. Carter mentioned. We have to educate and inform and make sure residents understand, that bulk pickup are these days, and you can't set anything out other than that. If you do, we will have to fine you. But ultimately, like I told my staff, we cannot allow bulk pickup to sit out. So we're looking to contract out some bulk pickup, meaning above the trash companies' days, I want to have a contractor that we contract with. When there's bulk set out, they come and pick it up. And I want to make sure that we pick it up. That's something that occurs throughout the week, not just one day, throughout the week, because we have to change the curb appeal of our property. So doing those three things alone, I think will help. Ensuring that our staff is out on the properties routinely, which we have created, thanks to Ms. Sutton and her team. We have created where our staff now does the daily trash pickup. So every day in the mornings, our maintenance staff will be on the grounds, and that's daily. That's a routine. It's no different than a lunch period, if you ask me. They come in the mornings, they spend an hour and a half on the grounds. They each are dedicated to section, and they pick up the grounds. And if we do these things, the idea is if we do these things and we do this right, we engage the residents, then we can make a difference on the curb appeal of the property. And that's just with trash pickup and with cutting the grass. So again, curb appeal is something that, you know, we really are focusing on this year, and something that has to be a continued focus. With that said, I would like to engage the board, and we can discuss further. I'll send an email out. I would like to do a community cleanup at some point in time in April. You know, maybe the second to third week or so in April. I would like to do a community cleanup where we invite the residents, we invite the staff. Well, not the staff will be out. We invite the residents. We invite, you know, the city council. If the city council has any ability to provide any additional resources, you know, I want to make sure that we do those things. So it may entail having garbage cans or dumpsters dropped in certain locations. It may entail, you know, pickup trucks or the usage of certain equipment to make sure we can get certain trash up. So, you know, that's just something I wanted to bring up today, and I'll get an email out so that we can really start to hammer down the details, you know, and the players that's going to be involved. But right now, we're looking at the second to third week in April, if possible.
Director.
Yes, sir.
Traditionally, although COVID shut it down last year, the community has a spring clean headed by the beautification committee for the city every year. If we can try and coordinate with that, they'll already have resources in effect to try and do dumpsters in the parks. They do one or two of the parks that connect to us, so we can do some work. I have to reach out to beautification to find out how's COVID affecting the spring cleanup this year, but we're looking good.
It's actually slated for the last Saturday in April.
Okay.
Last Saturday. Okay. Well, good. Yeah, I'll send an email around again. I just wanted to bring it up here. You know, we could really fine tune the details. You know, and even if some of the traditional partners may be impacted because of COVID and things, you know, it's something that I want to make sure we still engage, you know, the residents to some degree and do something. So even if it can't be a big, you know, an event, if you will, for lack of better words, Chairman, I still want to make sure that we do something with our residents, even if it's only us. I would love to have additional resources, but I still want to make sure that, you know, we do something, you know, with the rest. But again, that's something we can discuss more.
Fair enough.
Chair, could I possibly just really quick with for the ED, Officer Annika, she did say that she wanted to also coordinate with the ED for trash pickup exclusively for housing. She said in mid-April also. So that is one big resource anytime our housing officer would like to do that also. So.
All right.
Yeah. Perfect. Yep, she did mention that too. I think she may be looking at the probation department to see if you know, she could get them out during the week or we want to do it to be out there too. So, you know, any resources we can get would be good. So I'm gonna move on to the housing choice voucher consent items. So just so the board is aware, for a period in time we were behind with our HQS inspections, the housing quality standards inspections. We were behind in our recertifications, and so this month, you know, we can that we've made a significant progress in both of those indicators, both of those statistics. We were at an overdue housing quality standards inspection.
Director, you faded out a little bit when you did the numbers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me move my stuff over here. Yeah, with the we have been behind, since I started with the HQS inspections. Last month we reported to the board we had 111 delinquent, if you will, or overdue. I'm glad to report now with Nancy being back, her and her team. We did have a discussion with Nan McKay, who does our inspections. So we were able to bring that number down to 69 within a short period of time, and we were able to have a conversation with Nan McKay, to which we were able to make sure that they understand the urgency in this matter, and that they can streamline their process to make sure that the communication and the reporting is more timely. They have committed to doing that with us and for us. So with that, and with Ms. Sanford being back and overseeing the process, I'm confident that we will get that number down to even a minimal number under 70. So I believe all have been scheduled. And Nancy, if you may be able to speak to that, I think we've scheduled all, right? It's just still some overdue for various reasons.
Yes, we have. We scheduled all. It's 69 that were still late. So we scheduled and for those that have not that were.
Read it out on.
I'm sorry. Okay, so yes, we've scheduled the ones that were late, and for the ones that were completed, they just needed action 13 to be put in the system so we can upload to PIC. All right.
And then we only have, I believe, is it 4 late recertifications?
Yes, sir.
And that was as of month of February. So I mean, that's very good progress. And so I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged that we're working that progress. But that was one thing that HUD was really engaged in the program in terms of one of the CMAP indicators that we really had to strive to improve. As we continue to work that our process, one of the main things in the Housing Choice Voucher Program that we often talk about and that we report on is what's called utilization. That's something that's reported on monthly, and traditionally the program, has had its challenges in utilization, and so I won't go too far in depth into it in the board report, but what I can say to the board and speaking with Ms. Sanford and also talking with the Finance Committee is that when it comes to utilization, it's not a simple fix and it's not a quick fix, and that it takes due diligence in the research. So we know that we are funded and we have a certain amount of funding that HUD gives us, and they say you have this funding, here you go. And based on that funding, we then issue vouchers to participants. And based off many of the factors, then that funding will allow us or can allow us or may not allow us to utilize, that's that word, utilization, utilize all 751 vouchers, I believe, that we have. Yeah. So the Housing Choice Voucher Program, and Ms. Sanford, we sat down and we talked. We really have to be creative and look at how do we maximize the dollars that we have in order to be able to utilize as many vouchers or in lack of in a common, how can I say, common word sense, how do we be able to assist as many families as we can? And that's a delicate balance. So I say that because I want the board to understand that if you see that the number, I believe, is 599, I don't want us to just conclude it's something that we just completely are not doing. What I want the board to understand is that there's many factors that could add into that 599 that we are now diving into to determine what we need to do. And it could be one factor, I'll just briefly say, it could be one about, there's what's called payment standards. And Ms. Sanford can speak towards it more. It's how much we are paying the landlords that are offering the voucher if you will, the unit to the family. So the Housing Commission will set standards based off of, some things from HUD. So HUD will come out and say, here's what the fair market rents are. And so then we may have to negotiate with landlords to say, we can't pay you the $1,000 that you want. We can only pay you the $900. And just things like that is some of the things that we really have to dive into, because if we pay that $1,000, we won't be able to utilize all 751 vouchers, for instance. We only will be able to utilize 600. So that's just one example of when we talk about the utilization and where we're at. Utilization is a challenge. So again, what we have committed to do, and speaking with Ms. Sanford, is really diving into, why are we at where we're at, and what can we do internally, and what can we do externally. Can we reach out to the board? Can the board help us, in the recruitment of landlords? Can the board help us in the understanding, helping the landlords understand some of the challenges that the program deal with, so that they can say, okay, you know what? Sure, I have 10 apartments for rent. I ideally want 800, but I'll take 700. I'm into helping move the affordable housing mission forward. So I'll take your $700 housing commission. But see, the board has, influences and has connections in the community that can help us move some of these things forward. But so again, I just mentioned that because utilization is a really big deal in the Housing Choice Voucher Program, and we report on it every week, or every month, I should say. And I'm sure the board has questions because the needle doesn't look like it's moving. And so, that's something that we're going to be diving into more, and really keep the board abreast on what we're doing to make that needle move more, and make sure that you're informed and educated, in what we're doing. So, again, I just wanted to touch on a little bit about the Housing Choice Voucher and let the board know of some of the progress we've made, but also let the board know that, we have some challenges, and we have a ways to go. The last thing that I had as a part of my report was what I would call a section that I call other. And when I talk about other, this is just some of the things that during the course of the month that maybe I may have been involved in that may not necessarily be a consent item, but may relate to the consent items. So, one thing is we're going to be doing a lot of training. We have scheduled training with emphasis that's going to be coming up to help inform and educate our staff. There's a lot of reports in the Elite software that we just don't have the internal knowledge to know what they are and how to get to them. So emphasis will be coming in and providing an in-depth training, a 2-week training for staff. It's going to include financial, it's going to include procurement, it's going to include asset management, it's going to include housing choice voucher. The whole gambit of reporting, they're going to go through their system to make sure we understand, some of the data and how to get to some of the data that comes out of the system. That's something that's desperately needed, because I believe we don't know what we don't know, and I believe there's a lot of information in the system that will help us be able to track and accurately report to the board, some of the data that we report. The other training is UPCS. So I talked about UPCS earlier. We have a very young tenured staff. I don't believe, in speaking with my staff, that we fully understand what is UPCS and how do you really attack UPCS. So I mentioned to the board 2,000 work orders. Okay, so where do you start? Where do you start? You could spend an endless amount of money trying to do 2,000 work orders and still fail REACT. Some folks believe, well, just fix everything and you're okay. That's not how REACT works. You can fix everything on the UPCS report, those 2,000 work orders, and still fail miserably. So we need the training and the education on how to go at and how to attack a UPCS report. What does UPCS mean? What are the deficiencies? How do they relate to REACT? I need to make sure our staff is educated and trained on that. So we'll be bringing in the inspectors that did the inspections for the Housing Commission. They're going to provide the training. The other training will be safe work practices. So I talked with Ms. Jankowski to outreach to some entities to provide safe work practices for the maintenance. I need to make sure that the maintenance understand, especially as they gear up and start to do more and start to be in units more, doing things. I need them to understand what is safe work practices. How do you use power tools? Do you have the correct PPE? That's personal protective equipment. How do you keep yourself safe? How do you read a SDS or MSDS chemical sheet that should be in each shop? So there's several things that I need to make sure that as we gear up and do things, that we also give our staff the tools to be successful. So those are 3 trainings that we're going to do that's going to be up and coming. We got several procurements that's going to be released. We are looking at creating a website. We are looking at leased vehicles. We are looking at unit renovations. Other than just Twin Towers, we are actually looking at, that's why we brought the resolution for Alliance Architects. We are looking at pest control, resoliciting pest control. We are looking at bringing in a consultant for information technology. We are going to be putting out for strategic planning within the next couple weeks. And we're going to be looking at procuring and securing someone for public relations. So we're going to be very busy, and that's just scratching the surface. But those are the ones that I wanted to make sure that the board were aware that we're going to be going out, because those are services that we desperately need. And so, as we look to do things in the community, as we look to change some of the perception of the Housing Commission, we need to bring on those professional organizations that can help in that regard. Having a website is critical. Being able to get out our mission, being able to get out the communication to residents and things that we're doing into the broader community is critical. That's where PR comes in. Strategic planning, being able to make sure that we are all on the same page as an institution and as a commission and as a board, and being able to communicate that vision and mission to the community is critical. Some of the services, pest control, that's critical. Leasing vehicles, that's critical. Our fleet is aged and it doesn't present us in a light that we want it to present us in. So I'm engaging enterprise now for fleet management and fleet leasing. So again, to the board, I bring up those things because there are many things that, we internally as a commission that we're trying to do, to show us all in a different light and to make sure we provide the best customer service possible. The last thing, and that we can discuss further, will be in the area of HUD and HUD compliance. They did reach out to me last week and scheduled a meeting to which they discussed some of our plans and some of the things that they have been working with the board previously with. So they're going to restart some of those meetings. And some of the things that they're very interested in from a commission is, of course, occupancy, which I touched on. What is our plans for, our developments? They touched on the physical conditions. They touched on the compliance part in the Housing Choice Voucher Program and making sure that, what they have been working with Ms. Sanford's team that we are implementing. Again, there's multiple things that we're working at one time, and there's multiple entities that we're working with. So it's a very busy time for the commission. I'm sure the board is aware, but I really say that for the next 2 to 3 months, and I've told the staff this, for March, April, and May, for me, and you can even throw in June, those are going to probably be the most critical months for the Housing Commission. That'll put us 6 months through the year. We have several issues that we have been dealing with when it comes to HUD. With the meetings that we've had, again, the some of the challenges that we've had internally, when it comes to just being good customers and good servants, of the public and for the residents. So, again, the curb appeal, doing certain things are going to be critical to our success in these next 2 to 3 months. I'll be keeping the board abreast on these solicitations. I'll be keeping the board abreast on, some of the partners and things that are going to come in and help us with some of the services that I just mentioned. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Director. Is there any questions for the Director or anything that he's gone over?
I have one question. You mentioning putting out for new pest control people. I know we had 3 vendors that were splitting up pests, bed bugs, and something else, rodents. So how will that affect their contracts? Have their contracts expired? Will we have to pay them out, or have you looked at that?
Yeah, no, absolutely great question, Vice Chair Brock. No, the contracts haven't expired yet. Ms. Blackshear, if she's still on the phone, I think they expire in June.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they expire in June. So we're going to resolicit now with the anticipation that we're bringing them to the board before the expiration date. We are going to solicit for both services, bed bug and general pest. Right now, I don't know if it'll be 2 vendors or it'll be 1 or if it'll be 3. I don't know, Commissioner, but what I can say is that I've seen it done multiple ways. I've seen where, and where I came from, we had 1 vendor do it all. I've seen in my first housing authority where we had 2 vendors. So it can be done in multiple ways. I think it's just going to be when the proposers put forth their bids, looking at, who is the proposers, looking at their history, looking at their experience, and looking at their capacity. So, several factors will go into, determining who we bring to the board. But no, we won't have to pay anybody out. They're still going to continue, and we're going to see them through their contract until it expires. But we're going to put it out now so that we can meet that time.
Okay, that was my only concern. Thank you.
Any other questions with regard to the Executive Director report? All right. That takes us to our consent items. The Director's report covered some of the stuff that's in the consent items, but we'll go ahead and start up with finance. Does anybody have any questions or concerns with regard to the finance report this evening? I thought I saw the fee account on. If we could just get a quick run through of how the numbers went for this particular month.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This month, like the other months, you are under budget, within budget, which, as I've said in the past, is considering the aggressive agenda that you have before you of things to do, probably isn't the best thing, right? We really want to be spending our budget dollars to be able to serve the families and provide them with an appropriate environment in which to reside. And so what we can expect, in particular on the operations programs such as the voucher and in particular the AMPS 1 and 2, we do expect that the expenses will be rising over the course of the next several months to accommodate the agenda at hand that was just discussed in the director's report. but we have the budget laid out to accommodate that as we know it currently. I do think that we probably, once we get to mid-year, we'll want to take a relook at our budget and decide whether or not we want to come back sometime in the third quarter between July and September, possibly with the budget revision, because when the budget was drafted, of course, we didn't have the same agenda that we have now. But I mean, otherwise, you're doing fine and you're going according to plan from the standpoint of staying within budget. Is someone going to say something? The other thing that I wanted to mention was that your year-end 2020 was December, right? And we had to have our report into HUD by this past Monday, and we did successfully submit our annual report to them. It was the unaudited version. We also received, and you, I believe, have a copy of the audit report for 1919, which was also successfully submitted, whereby HUD had provided us with an extension due to COVID, and so that deadline was met as well. But other than that, I'm not sure I have much to tell you.
Okay. Any questions with regard to information from the fee account and the finance report?
We had I thought to be a very productive meeting. Not much to tell in the way of numbers, but a lot of explanation as to why certain things are the way they are, especially with the housing choice voucher program. I know that here you have asked that we have a separate meeting to just go over the audit report. So I don't know if you want to set that up now, because the director is ready to send that information off, and it has a deadline of the 31st of this month. So he didn't want to just arbitrarily send it off without discussion, even though it doesn't need our approval before it's sent off. Is that the way to say it, Andrea?
It is.
Okay.
Formal
it doesn't need our approval.
Yeah.
Formal approval before it's sent off, so we can discuss it after the fact. But he just wanted to make sure that he got our buy-in, that's Mr. Cooper, before sending it off. So if we could do it beforehand, that would be great. If not, if we could just make sure we get it in on time and then discuss it, because the numbers are the numbers, they're not going to change. So, with the explanation.
Okay. I was hoping that we could go ahead and just set a time to go over that, so we can actually take some time to speak with the auditor directly, so the board can get a chance to meet him with their eyes on and hear from his mouth what his report contains.
He did appear in the finance meeting.
All right, that's good to know. Okay, so all right. So yeah, we can go ahead and try and set that. Oh, somebody got their hand up or something.
Francis.
Oh.
Hey everyone. I just wanted to mention, I don't know if it's said or not, that we do have a contract with National Credit Services to start collecting debt for our bad debt tenants. NCS, National Credit Services, will collect delinquent accounts past $50 from over the last 3 years. The split is we will receive 60% of that of the rent collected, and they will receive 40%. There is no out-of-pocket cost. They're going to create a portal for information at our fingertips and keep us informed. We have access to that portal 24/7. We just need to forward the files, the tenant files to them, and I have reached out to Andrea. She's going to help us get those tenants files together so we can forward it to the collection agency so they can start immediately. They will garnish wages and tax refunds. They will create customized reports like management reports, graphs on bad debts and damage fees for us. And we're going to set up a ACH banking template for automatic deposits. That's about it. Any questions?
What those collection rate numbers, the 60s and the 40s? Can you say that one more time for me? I kind of lost.
60% of collected amount will go to Inkster Housing, 40% to the credit agency.
Right.
Will costs come off the top?
No cost, just a 60-40 split.
Yes, the cost will come off. They don't give us 100%, we send them back 40%, they'll take their 40%. That's what you're asking.
Yeah, they're going to take their 40 and send us the 60%.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. That actually was welcome information. I do appreciate it. Where was I? We were moving.
Was looking for a date, I think.
Yep, that's right. We're looking for a date for the audit, to go over the audit. Let's see.
Mr. Cooper, do you know what kind of time frame we have for Andy?
I
Notice while? I mean, as far as
don't.
notice?
Yeah, I don't. Vice Chair, he's pretty flexible, but I gotta pin him down. So maybe if we give a couple dates that'll work. I'll call him tomorrow and just say, hey, will either one of these two work? He's pretty flexible. I just gotta catch him.
Okay. What about Friday or the next Friday?
Yeah, I'm good for Friday's obviously good. I mean, this upcoming one is packed full of stuff though for me. So either after work hours or the following Friday, which about late afternoon, 3-ish.
Okay, that's not our date, is it?
26.
Or the 26th? I was thinking the 2nd. Okay.
26?
So we are saying the 19th or the 26th? Or
yeah, I'm not gonna.
20th?
Yeah, I can't do the 19th at all. So this Friday is full of stuff for me. But the following one I can do some stuff, or like I said, anytime after work I can do it.
Is it 20? I asked him if the 20. If it sounds like if the 26 will work, I can ask him. Is there any particular time, or are we pretty open on the 26th?
Okay. For me, 26 is about midday. Either right around 3 o'clock, or I'm trying to go through my schedule. Possibly early, like 10, 11 might work.
I'm open so far for that day.
It's the board, and I just looked at my calendar, and it's not going to work for me.
Okay.
I'll be in a conference all day.
All right. Well,
The following week, you can have me Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I don't have anything.
Okay. Can we do something at 5?
Yeah. 5
Which
o'clock
day?
would work for me.
Any day. We can do it here Thursday coming up. If y'all have some time, just coming up Thursday, we can do it.
That's the 18th.
Or
Works for me.
the following any time during the week, I'm good.
What about the following Thursday to give him a little time?
That works too.
Yeah, because otherwise it'd be like a day notice.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you're talking the 25th?
Yeah. I can't do it. I can't do it.
How about the 24th, anybody? Wednesday?
That's
The
a Wednesday.
24th is fine with me too.
I can do the 24th.
Okay.
Cooper can do the 24th.
All right.
He can.
He can.
Okay.
What time are we talking?
About
Yes.
5.
About 5
o'clock.
on 24th? Okay.
Is that good for you, Mr. Cooper, or would you like us to give you time to get home?
No, that's good. I'll do it. I'll sit right here and do it, Vice Chair. But I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Nobody
Whose
appreciates
birthday is it,
me.
Mr. Cooper?
Huh?
Whose birthday is it?
On
Mine.
the 24th?
Yeah.
Mine.
Maybe it's an anniversary.
Oh, it's your anniversary, Andrea?
What?
I thought you said your anniversary.
No, not me.
Oh.
Someone said that.
All right. So the 24th Wednesday or sometime on the 26th.
I thought we said the 24th on Wednesday.
Well, we want to give them a couple of days to give them some flexibility.
26th, it'll have to be around 3.
Okay.
Not available.
Wait, did she? Commissioner Stroman, you said 26 was bad for you though, totally, right?
Yes.
Yep. I'm gonna be in a conference. If you say 3 o'clock, I might be able to zoom out for a minute and work it. If it's like if it's an hour or so, 3 to 4:30, I probably can do it to 26. But we're in our
And the 22nd?
conference.
The 22nd work for anybody as an alternate date?
Nope, the library opens on the 22nd, and I'll be there all day.
What about the 29th?
The what?
The 29th as an alternate date.
Well, guess what? You got me. I don't have nothing on my calendar.
24th and 29th.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, 5 p.m., right?
Yep.
Yes.
I'll reach out to him tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Other than that, like I said, the director went through quite a few of the consent items in his report. Does anybody have anything with regard to the consent items that they want to bring up that wasn't brought up in the executive director report?
Looking at the wrong. Can we get an update on the security report? I know they met, but
Yes. I was getting ready to say that, Brock. I was just getting my good papers together.
well, he asked. I'm sorry. Okay, next meeting I'm not gonna say a word.
All right.
I doubt that very seriously.
No,
but
well,
I'm okay with it. Yeah. So,
They gonna miss me, George, when I'm gone.
All right.
okay, so as you know, we had our first security meeting on March 12th, which was the Friday at 11 o'clock, and our attendances were myself, Vice President Carter, Secretary Danya Johnson, Commissioner Mabel Stroman, Councilman Reverend George Williams, and Officer Annika. We did invite Officer Summers, who actually took over for Officer Lebo, but she was unavailable to attend. And then came to a lot of different conclusions. We discussed as far as the reports that are given to you, Executive Director Cooper, every 2 weeks, that we know that the police sent to you. So, and she was letting us know that there was 23 items on that report for January, February, if I'm not mistaken. But she did say that those were not reports that we needed to have the big time information on, but she was going to still keep us posted, because it was like, like one was assault and battery, and like she said, it might not have been an assault and battery. It might just been somebody, pushing or hitting, but when the police come out, they label it as assault and battery. What they look for is, like she said, the larceny, felony assault, things like that. So we did talk about what we could try to do to combat the crime. She did mention that they were thinking about putting cameras up and going up in the housing area, and she was going to be riding with you, Mr. Cooper, to kind of let you guys show you the hot spots that really needs that particular security. Now, we did ask her, because we know future they either shot out the cameras or broke them out with rocks. So we did ask if there was some kind of way that they could be able to put some type of grid or something over the lights. But she said that they would be having some officer monitoring, at the police station. So if they can do that, that was a plus in itself. We are going to as I said, we did get a chance to go over some things. We're going to also invite, she was going to talk to the deputy chief and ask him about some things that we could be able to implement, in which we all agree. Also, Vice President Carter did ask her, about, compliance as far as letters going out to residents. And so we are going to be meeting every second Friday of the month, same time at 11, so that we can try to come up with some better conclusions and better ideas that we can implement, not just things that we're going to talk about, but that can be implemented through this housing, to let you know, also, Executive Director. So we hope that we can all work together and hopefully combat the crime, because we know that the hours, as she was saying, the hours that are crucial hours are from 5 p.m. to 5:30 in the morning. That's where crucial crime actually occurs. So we are trying to figure out a way to get those items taken care of. Any other, Commissioner Stroman or Vice President Carter, did you have anything to add to the report? And so we will keep you aware of progress from our committee, and we will let you know. We're looking forward to working with, I know Ms. Sutton was out ill, but I know she will be on the next meeting, so we're looking forward to that. And if possible, just getting with you with the reports, if there's things on there that they send to you for the crime report, if we can be aware of, so that we can be able to actually hash those out in our meeting, we'd appreciate it. That's it. Thank you.
And if I could add to the security report for Commissioner Moore and for the board, we the camera things, because I know folks here, cameras. I understand that the city, or at least the police, did receive an award for a grant for some camera installations. So I'm under the impression that it was told to me that some of those cameras, of course, are going to be in areas where the city and the police have high crime areas, or areas of pockets of crime where where it'd be conducive for them to put cameras. So is my preliminary understanding that some of those will be around the Housing Commission. So I'm not sure if they mentioned that to you.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, good. She did mention that also to us. As I said, she did say that they want to make sure that they get the cameras in the the predominantly hot spots that they know are the areas that most of the crime occurs during those peak hours. So, and we know where they're at basically. And like she said, she worked midnights for a couple of years, so she kind of knows the Moine Gardens, Parkside. So she kind of knows that. So as she said, you know, the cameras will work coincide with the ones that they'll put up in the city along with the housing. So that way, if there's someone that usually how they usually do come through housing, they'll also see them too. So.
Okay. All right. And then we're also the same company that the city is using. I asked the chief, Chief Riley, you know, what the name of the company. So I met with them about 2 weeks ago, and just to get a better understanding of, you know, I'm not I don't claim to be an IT, you know, professional, but I wanted them to explore what would be our possibilities for us to also have and purchase a number of cameras to be able to at least look at initially installing at Twin Towers. Wireless cameras are really difficult to maintain. They're really expensive, and you have to have the right infrastructure. And so, you know, and that's wireless. And of course, all our sites, you would have to have wireless. You couldn't string wires up throughout the sites that we have. So I thought that it would be a good start to look at what we'll be able to do at Twin Towers, and potentially look at putting some cameras, you know, at critical areas within Twin Towers. So, you know, they have walked, I think Ms. Johnson or Ms. Nick over at Twin Towers. I think they met them, walked with them, I think last week. So, you know, that's just something that we're exploring as well, and as well as security. Ms. Blackshear is going to be putting out a solicitation for security. We currently have a company at Twin Towers. I want to resolicit that contract, and I want to see what else we can potentially get. You know, if they bid and then they're the successful proposers, then, you know, hey, they can remain. But I want to see what else is out there, and potentially look at a component of roving patrol, unarmed, of course. You know, unarmed roving patrol, just some additional resources to put eyes out in the properties, especially as the summer comes. So we're just exploring several things.
All right, thank you. That was quite comprehensive. I appreciate that, actually. All right. Any other questions with regard to the consent items on the agenda?
Dare I say, how close are we to hiring a FSS?
Director Jankowski?
I'm sorry, what did you say, member FFS?
Yes.
Resident Services.
Oh, resident services such as FFS. I am so sorry. Mr. Cooper and I interviewed two pretty darn strong candidates. We have another 3 in the hopper, so by midweek next week, we're planning on making a decision on the candidate.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Oh, all right.
Okay. I want to make sure I commend the Housing Choice Voucher Program for the work that they've been doing. That number going into the double digits instead of the triple digits is impressive. I do appreciate the work. Thank you. So we look forward to that number continuing to trend down. Same thing with the work orders with public housing. Director was talking about, you know, some moving averages with regard to those numbers. As long as we can start trending those, how long our residents have to wait for those work orders to get done, that would be a blessing for me. So I truly appreciate the work. Thank y'all so much.
You are welcome, and I just want to say thank you to Mr. Anthony Watson for his assistance.
Yay! Let's see here. What are we? Okay. Well, other than that, there doesn't look like there's anything under old business. New business has an item A for work order process.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. We need to receive the consent agenda item.
My fault. Is there a motion to accept the as presented?
So moved.
All right, so motion has been moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Is there any other discussion regarding these items? Hearing none. If we get a roll call, please, sir. You are muted, brother.
Thank you for that, Chairman. Commissioner Wheeler? Commissioner Stroman?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Vice Chair Brock?
Yes.
And Chairman Miller?
Yes, sir.
Consent items have been moved and properly seconded.
All right. As stated before, item 11, old business has nothing under it. New business. Work order process.
I think, Chairman, this is really a duplication. Didn't have too much. I think I've talked about it a little bit earlier, and I probably talked too much. I'm sorry, but with the work order process, I just wanted to comment that we are really looking at what's open from day to day and from week to week. Ms. Sutton, we talked about it this morning. Ms. Sutton, myself, and Mr. Watson and her team, and we are starting to address the UPCS, Uniform Physical Conditions Standards, work orders. So we don't traditionally report on those. We traditionally report on non-emergency and emergency work orders. But I wanted to make sure the board knew that we are going to start to address these work orders, because that's been a topic of discussion, with these previous HUD meetings in the physical conditions. So I think everyone should be aware of that, and so whenever those discussions reoccur, HUD is aware that we are working those work orders, as it relates to trying to improve the conditions in our REACT score. So that's it. I didn't really have nothing formal.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Okay. And part B of our new business, as always, is commissioner comments. Let's see. Commissioner Boone's not here. Let's see. All right. Let's start with Commissioner Stroman. Mr. Treasurer, you have any comments for the evening?
Not really. Just to remind everyone to pass the word. The public library will be open for business Monday, March 22nd, all day.
All right.
So stop in, see what we're doing, what we're not doing, and move from there.
All right. Commissioner Moore, you have anything for the cause to see?
Just go over as far as the surveys that Vice President Carter mentioned that were given to the ED as far as for the Wi-Fi. We did get a really good response out of Denby. We are still working on Lemoyne and Parkside, but we forgot about the one thing, and I don't know if this was mentioned to the Executive Director, Ms. Cooper, about Jason Dixon. He was also working with the Wi-Fi to get the Wi-Fi also connected here. So I don't know if you would like to touch bases with him, because he did, and he does have some more surveys that were taken prior to the ones that we did, that we went door to door to give the other day. So that's
all right.
I think yes.
All right. Thank you.
Well,
Vice Chair Brock, you have anything for the meeting this evening?
I had a couple of things. Public service announcement. New Hope Church in Wayne will be providing COVID vaccination on March 27th from 9 to 1. And you have to pre-register. That's for anybody 60 or older or 50 was I'm about to say pre-existing conditions, but what am I saying? I lose my words here.
Underlying condition.
Underlying conditions. And you can register on the New Hope Church website, and that's for the 27th. And you want to also register ahead of time. Also, Dearborn is having its final day, I think tomorrow, for the COVID vaccination, and you can register and get more information on the City of Dearborn's website. So just want to encourage everybody that is 60 years of age or 50 years with underlying conditions such as asthma or any other type of high-risk category you will fall in to get your vaccination shots. I got mine today, so one of two down. I also just wanted to talk about, I can't read my own writing here. Because we're doing so much stuff and talking about the beautification of our fingerprints in the community. A while back, I think it was last year, there was conversation with the city about removing those concrete barriers that's around Denby, I think mostly. And there's the concrete cylinders that's in our property. The chief of police had said they didn't have use for it. The city did put them up. If we could check with them to see if they're going to be able to take them down or if we could get rid of them, I think it'll give our tenants the atmosphere that they are really, truly part of our community and Inkster as a whole. Because Chief Riley said they really didn't have a use for them. So I would like to see somebody check into that. Also, I did a drive-through on Friday through our properties, and what sparked my drive-through was a lot of conversation that I had with Mr. Cooper regarding the money that needed to be spent to give our property curb appeal. And so I told him that I would also reiterate that expenditure is going up, and justifiably so. I don't know how many of you, whether you live in the property or you sit on the board or whomever, had an opportunity to write our properties lately, but you can see why we need to spruce up our curb appeal. So I did take pictures. I have not sent pictures out. I'm not going to send pictures out. I can't wait to be able to show the pictures of before and after, because it's much work for all of us to do. I am going to look into making contact with the Kidney Foundation and see if they have some flowers that they would like to donate to us this year, and maybe we can get some type of contest along with Mr. Cooper's idea as far as cleaning up the development and getting the residents involved. Maybe we can have some kind of small contest involved in that for the best looking place. Whether we do hot dogs roasted, that was another idea out there, and just make it a fun day for everybody to just kind of, let's get the rah-rah and support a clean community. So I'm looking forward to us moving ahead and finally putting this grass pickup, clean up thing to bed once and for all. So I can't wait for that day. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. I don't have a lot. I congratulations all around. I do want to reiterate that it's nice to see things moving in a direction that's much more positive. I am hoping that we can sustain it and add some fuel to it here in the coming months. The directors talked about critical issues and time being of the essence with regard to the coming months. I am in full agreement with that. The work to redevelop who we are as far as an organization, mission, vision-wise, to me is of the utmost importance. So I'm looking forward to that work. We are still slated for strategic planning training on the 2nd and 3rd of the month of April for us to prepare for our own strategic planning retreat so that we can do our metamorphosis portion, get ourselves going here. So I appreciate everybody's work. I appreciate the direction the directors move us in. I'm looking forward to seeing more. I don't have anything else other than that. Well, no, there's a closed session item I wanted to go over with regard to for the director.
Oh, and Mill had 2 real estate closed items.
And there's 2 items for real estate.
Yes.
Look it up. If there is, we need a motion going to closed session. All right.
I move that we are going to close session at 8:54.
All right. There's a motion to move into closed session. Is there a second?
Yeah, the topic is.
Yes, real estate and employment for the director, I guess.
I second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion with regard to it? Director, could we get a roll call? You got your little red microphone up there, don't forget.
Maurice, I'm going to call you because we need to schedule a procurement meeting. I'll call you.
Commissioner Wheeler? Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman?
Yes.
Vice Chair Brock?
Yes.
Chairman Miller?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have,
Can we be moved into another room?
Yeah, I think that's the modus operandi now.
Julie, do you know how to do that?
I think Tamika does.
Yeah, like whoever has control of it should be able to do a breakout room.
Tamika is the expert.
I'm not the expert.
Ms. Moore,
Do you need some help,
Yes.
Julie?
yes, what's your email address?
Julie, you on mute. You on mute.
More.
You need me to come down?
More Inkster
You can come down.
Housing.org.
I'm about to leave this and I'll be down.
Her person, it's the same. Yeah, her person is for hers.
Yes. Any more
I got you.
at Inkster Housing.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Thank you.
And you welcome. You have to stay out my head because that was going to ask about the procurement meeting. I was like,
1, 2, 3, 4.
He's not in. 2.